plasma half-life will increase. Okay, so this is terminal half-life. And there is another term which is called biological effect half-life. What is biological effect half-life? This is the time by which the biological effect of a drug, declines by 1/2. So this is usually predictable in receptor mediated drugs like alpha and beta agonists or antagonists, but it is usually not predictable in antibiotic drugs. That means the effect of a drug is reducing by half. Okay, now come to the equation of half-life. You can see the equation of half-life here. The equation of half-life here is 0.693 into volume of distribution divided by clearance. Okay, so here T half is half-life, Vd is volume of distribution, Cl is clearance, and 0.693 we have got this one from the elimination constant. Now half-life increases with increasing volume of distribution. From the equation you can see that half-life is proportional to volume of distribution and half-life is inversely proportional to clearance. Now why is that? Why it is like that? The half-life increases with increasing volume of distribution because large volume of distribution means the drug is distributed into various compartments besides plasma. The drug is contributed in plasma, the drug is distributed in plasma, and also it is distributed in some other compartments. Okay, so drugs distributed into the other compartments will be eliminated slowly, so the half-life will increase. Okay, and if you see that half-life decreases with increasing plasma clearance. Why? Because high plasma clearance means the drug is getting cleared from the body easily, so shorter half-life. That is easy to understand, isn't it? Now come to the importance. What is the importance of plasma half-life? In exams you may be asked about that what is the importance of plasma half-life. So you can say that preparing dosage schedule, when you are preparing a dosage schedule, you have to measure the dosage intervals. Okay, so in order to prepare a dosage schedule you have to have the knowledge of half-life. Then, as I have mentioned, calculating dosage interval, and a very important thing is in poisoning cases, speculator of antidote timing. You have to give an antidote for a particular drug within a particular time, so you have to have the knowledge of half-life. Okay, now come to steady state concentration. When we talk about half-life, the term steady state concentration should be discussed. Now what is steady state concentration? This is a state when the rate of administration of a drug equals the rate of elimination and the plasma concentration remains stable. That means in a steady state concentration, the administration of a drug and the elimination of a drug equals, right? So this becomes important when a certain amount of drug is given at a certain interval. So see the rule of 5. Let's see the rule of 5. So usually 5 half-lives are required for achieving a steady state concentration, and if the dose is increased during the steady state, a new steady state will be achieved after another 5 half-lives. Suppose you have you are giving repeatedly a drug, then 5 half-lives of that drug will be required to achieve a steady state concentration. And then if you increase the dose, then it will gain a new steady state concentration. And how much time it will require? It will require again further 5 half-lives. And if the drug administration is stopped, suppose you have stopped the drug administration, then the drug will be excreted. How much half-lives it will take? Here also it will take 5 half-lives. So from the steady state concentration up to full excretion, the drug will take 5 half-lives. Now come to another important topic, which is loading dose and maintenance dose. So what is loading dose? Loading dose is one or a series of doses given at the onset of therapy with the aim of achieving the target concentration rapidly. Suppose a patient is in an emergency condition and you have to achieve a certain plasma concentration very rapidly. So what you can do? You can give a very high dose of a drug so that the drug reaches to its plasma concentration, its target plasma concentration, very rapidly. Because if you give regular doses, then it will take 5 half-lives. As I have mentioned earlier, it will take 5 half-lives to reach that plasma concentration. But we do not have that much time to wait for that emergency patient. So we give a very high dose of a drug, or we give small repeated doses of a drug very quickly within a very short time at the onset of therapy. Okay, so this is called loading dose. Now what are the advantages of loading dose? The advantages are: achieves immediate therapeutic concentration. You can see, achieves immediate therapeutic concentration, and it has a very rapid onset of action, and it is useful in emergency conditions. And it has some major disadvantages as well. What are the disadvantages? The patient is exposed to a very high concentration of a drug abruptly. That means suddenly the patient is exposed to a very high concentration of a drug that can be dangerous, and toxicity may develop because most of the loading doses are given parenterally, so it is difficult to reverse the condition. Okay, so we have to measure the risk benefit that about these things. Okay, in case of emergency conditions, actually we are compelled to give a loading dose, but in stable patients we usually do not give this. Usually we start with our usual doses. Now the equation for loading dose. The equation for loading dose is plasma concentration into volume of distribution divided by bioavailability. Okay, so loading dose depends on volume of distribution. The larger the volume of distribution, the larger the loading dose should be. This is because drugs with large volume of distribution will be distributed into some other places besides plasma. So the amount of drug remaining in plasma will be less. Therefore, we will have to give a larger loading dose. And if you see this example, I think you will be able to understand this thing. Our target plasma concentration, suppose our target plasma concentration for drug A is 100 mg, and its volume of distribution is 500 mg, of which 10 mg remains in plasma and the rest 490 mg enters into other compartments. So of 500 mg, only 10 mg remains in the plasma and the rest is distributed into other compartments. So we will have to give 5000 mg, that means 500 into 10, 5000 mg loading dose in order to achieve 100 mg plasma concentration. Now come to maintenance dose. Now what is maintenance dose? When drugs are administered in a series of repetitive doses or as a continuous infusion to maintain a steady state concentration are called maintenance dose. So in some cases we need to maintain a specific plasma concentration of a drug for a longer time, suppose 7 days, 10 days, 1 month, 6 months, etc. Then we have to give that drug repeatedly. Okay, calculation of maintenance dose is important when we are considering when we are considering a specific plasma concentration of a drug for a certain period of time. For example, you can see an example here. We might think about a certain plasma concentration of ceftriaxone, which is an antibiotic used in enteric fever, and we have to maintain that plasma concentration of ceftriaxone for about 14 days in order to eliminate the enteric fever organism, which is Salmonella typhi, entirely. Okay. Now the equation for maintenance dose. You can see what is the equation. The equation is Cp into Cl into T divided by F. Cl is clearance and T is time. So let's explain this thing a little bit more. That maintenance dose depends on plasma clearance. If a drug is eliminated quickly, then the maintenance dose should be higher, and if the dosage interval is higher, then the maintenance dose should also be higher, and vice versa. Okay. Now come to a very important topic. That is dose response relationship. In order to know the dose response relationship, we have to know what is dose and what is response. So dose is the amount of drug administered to a patient per unit time, or the amount of drug which is given at a time to a patient. For example, paracetamol 500 milligram. If we say the dose of paracetamol is 500 milligram, it means that every time we give paracetamol to a patient, we give 500 milligram. What is response? This is the effect shown by the body to a particular drug. That means if paracetamol reduces body temperature or normalizes body temperature, then we can call that the response has been achieved. What is dose response relationship? So dose response relationship is the relation between dose of a drug and the response that is achieved. So dose response relationship is the relation between dose and the response is achieved. Suppose we are giving a certain dose and we are achieving a certain response. The relationship is the dose response relationship. There are two types of dose response relationships. One is graded dose response and another is quantile dose response. Okay. Now what is dose response curve? The dose response curve is the relationship of dose to response, can be illustrated by a graph, which is called the dose response curve. So when the dose response relationship is plotted into a graph paper, that is called dose response, that will produce a curve which is called a dose response curve, right? So information obtained from a dose response curve. What type of information we can achieve from a dose response curve? Number one is presence of a specific receptor, for example adrenergic receptor or cholinergic receptor. So we can assume or we can think about a specific type of receptor. Then nature of the drug applied. What type of drug we have applied? Agonist? Is it an agonist or it is an antagonist? This type of information. Then effect of the drug. Is the drug analgesic or antipyretic or antihypertensive, etc. Now let's come to these things: graded dose response and quantile dose response. What is graded dose response? Increase in dose will cause an increase in response up to a certain level. Graded dose response means we are increasing the dose and we are getting increasing response. That is called graded dose response. Okay, but this response will be up to a certain limit. For example, we are giving a drug